Que yo estoy transmitiendo. Vale.
All right. We can start. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Okay, so this talk, I will introduce our guest. I will introduce our guest speaker in a minute. But this talk is going to be, first I will speak for 5 minutes about the context in which this talk is happening. And then after that, I will introduce Moisés, and then we will start hearing his experience in design. Okay, so this is a talk that is part of Foro Cerámico, which is an initiative by Hispalyt, which is an association that that combines all the activities and industries that has to do with ceramic in construction. And as you can imagine, ceramic in the Spanish construction industry is something that is very well integrated. I'm sure Moisés will highlight how each architect can make an interpretation of that industry in their own. So Foro Cerámico is a series of activities that tries to connect the industry with academia, with students, with you. So I will talk about, the slides are in Spanish, so I'll explain them in English. I'll talk about the different activities of the Foro Cerámico because IE is part of this network. And this lecture is part of these activities, okay? So first, we will talk about the central part of the activities of the Foro Cerámico, which is the, let's see if okay, which is the competition of projects. So every year, Foro Cerámico has a competition of projects that is very centralized about the use of bricks or the use of ceramics in architecture. And this year, competition theme is a library in Zamora, with, of course, an appearance of ceramic or bricks in the facades. Okay, so it is, as I said, for students of architecture, and there are two ways or two manners to enter in this. We either do it as part of our school program, which is not happening this year, or we can do it as individuals who are part of these schools who can submit their proposals through their universities. And I am the coordinator of these activities at IE. So if you feel interested in applying to these competitions, come talk to me. Okay. So there are in the website a little bit of details. I'm not going to talk a lot about this because I want the time to be for Moisés and his presentation. But again, if you are interested in participating and you need some guidance on how to do that, please reach out. I can help with this. Okay. So the other activity that okay, there are also two kind of screenings or jury, one that is local to the university and one that is international on the whole university. And you will compete with students or among students that are in the whole region of Spain. All right, the other one is another competition. I don't think this is for us because you're still in the third year. This is for something to think about in 2 years. If you choose to do your project, your graduation project or your master's graduation project on bricks, and you are in our university or in the universities that are part of the Foro Cerámico, you can apply to 2 categories. One is the trabajo fin de master, which is a project that you do and you design so that you can graduate from your master, or a capstone project where you write about the ceramic industry. And you are you can apply either with your project or with your research as in text. Again, reach out to me to know a little bit more about the details of the this competition. But one of the juries, I mean, this is not to, one of the juries is our very esteemed Professor Ara. She's in the jury of the project on the capstone research and the graduation project. Lecciones Aprendidas, which is translated to learn lesson, is what we're having today. We're having Moisés Royo from Muka Arquitectura to tell us about their experience in working with this material and how they approach it in their projects. And so, Foro Cerámico, they support these activities and they support this transfer of knowledge between professors. Here is the list of the different architects that are part of this initiative: Ristorral, Vicente Sarrablo, and SV60. Marloren Mendez, she talks about Barcelino, which is genius who work with ceramic, but in the US, not in Spain. And of course, we have Muka Arquitectura, which we will have in a second. Finally, there are some conferences and materials that you can reach out to in the website, which has to do with the technicality of this material and its. Okay. And there's also some visits to factories of this industry. All right. So with that, there will be a questionnaire that I will send to you after class, and you can fill it and fill it back to us, so that Foro Cerámico can understand better their functions and the way they're doing things, and you can help them to make it sense. So before I move to, I will switch the slides, and sorry about that. I will go back to share my screen again. Oops. Okay, so just on time, you guys. Okay, I hope. Okay, the screen seems to be shared. So Moisés Royo, he's the founder of Muka Arquitectura. It was founded in 2008. Okay, Moisés, he studied at Columbia University and Alta University in Finland as well. And also he did his PhD in la Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, where he finished his PhD there. And he has been lecturing in different universities, including in Politécnica de Madrid, but also he gave lectures in Portugal. He worked on an international level with missions in the Middle East, also Europe, and also with lectures. He lectured also in New York and internationally. So please join me in welcoming Moisés for his talk, and floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to be here with all of you. Hope you are going to like the lecture today. I will focus on two projects that we have been working about ceramics.
Or hit the triple thing, you'll get an option from there too. The ellipses.
Now, I'm going to today two projects that are kind of like a very like domestic scale. I would say like a number of because we are very focused on the small details. I'm trying to work with matter. It's not only architecture making like spaces, but also working with matter. Okay. So the first one is These two projects are in Spain, they're located in Spain, and the first one is Casa Piedrabuena, the house. The house was commissioned by it's not working.
This?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we are in Piedrabuena. Piedrabuena is a really small town which is located like 200 kilometers away down to south of Madrid. It's a very small business. This promoter, this huge, a very like an old lady who wanted to come in a very, very small plot that you're going to see afterwards. She wanted to run like a small office for her son and also a small apartment on the upper level. This is the town of Piedrabuena, where you can see like the main church, which is over there. It was kind of like in the peak of a small slope in the town, and it was kind of like observing what was going on before. You can see all the roofs were made by ceramic, by tiles and tiles, and also you can see the wheat on the ground, because this town is surrounded by wheat fields. So the combination of the yellow patterns, the wheat, and also the ceramic tiles of the bread make this kind of combination here. When we work with brick, we always are reminding the architect Alvaro, who comes from Finland, and you have heard about Philip. He was a master architect coming from Finland, one of the best architects, I would say, from the 20th century. And he was also on the notes for Finland and his face. And he was saying a sentence that I always remind my mind, which is when you work with bricks, the architect and the architecture should be able to convert a piece of brick into a piece of gold. The same like in Pinocchio, it's kind of like a converting like just a piece of wood coming into life. So, which is our capability as an architect to bring life to matter. And that's how the ceramic tiles and the ceramic architecture has a lot to say about that. And you can say in some ancient pictures, all the citizens, all the users of this city, they were all the time being observed by the church. The church with these twin towers, with the twin bells towers, that were kind of like working as two big eyes, watching, observing what was going on during the history of this small house. And this was the plot. It was a plot with just 2.57 meters width, which is almost like my hands feel like this, a little bit more. So the facade was very, very narrow, and that was the only place where we can get natural light from. Okay? And then you can see like almost like 11 meters depth. You was entering into a kind of like a cul-de-sac, as we call it. So there was no windows surrounded by it. It was just side walls from the rest of the neighborhood. That created like a particular plot over there. So you can imagine how tough was trying to create an office downstairs at the ground level, and also how you can make this size of the plot an apartment on the upper level. So that was the plot. As you can see, if you compare with the rest of the architectures surrounding, it was very, very thin, with two-story level, two-story height. And it was very, very narrow. It was getting from 2.57 meters, going down to 1.8 to the point, to the end of the side here. So what could have been done with this particular plot, right? So even though the owner was looking, she has she got a face like not knowing really what's going to be done from here, right? And then we came up with, there was a lot of like thinking process about the floor plan and the layout. And then we came up with the solution, okay? So we just wanted to place two boxes in the middle of that floor plan that would create circulation surrounded by that. And with the doors, sliding doors, we would be able to get separated rooms or merge all the space together. So we're getting a very small like a desk office on this side. The meeting room was here, that will be connected by these passage, like a very like narrow entrance here, while being closed from there. At the same time, we create a second office over there that could be just closed there. There was a glass over there, it was a transparent glass, but that could be able to make that two different offices. This is the first one, and the biggest, and this is the smaller one. Also, the entrance, was this, created an access that after the main facade was like a glass wall with a glass door that creates these in-between spaces. Also, when you're working with ceramic, at least in our case, we always consider the ceramic as a full potential for working with in-between spaces. So it's about how you can get a wider limit, a wider boundaries between the exterior and the interior from any front. Right? So we create this kind of in-between space here that you're going to see later on. And then this is the staircase going upstairs for the first one. If you realize here, there is a dashed line just surrounding the front part and the back area. That's because the floor upstairs doesn't go all the way along to the wall. It stays backwards, just giving a gap around the limit of the floor plan. And that will allow to get natural light coming from the skylights from the upper floor, getting down to the ground floor. Otherwise, there will have not been any natural light on these offices. As you can see here, on the left side is where the desk is going to be located, and on the right side is that meeting room that we saw before. So you can see that this side of the box, it's a door that can turn because here, while in this area, this is a door that is hidden. So you can create like a very dynamic, even despite of having such a small space, you can create a very dynamic circulation. And you can see the gap, like the floor upstairs is just hitting the wall, and it's giving that gap that's changing the natural lighting. On the second level, just one of the boxes have been completed. I live in this area, between the living room for the apartment, and getting there just the bedroom, okay, just one bedroom. On the other side, we keep the kitchen just close to the exterior, so all the privacy has been kept on the back side of the block that you can see there. This is the living area at the top, and you can see that the roof, they start giving to you some ideas and some clues of what's going on, how the natural light is getting into this building of this house. The roof is just getting like different levels, at different inclinations, just to get the natural light from the sides of the top. And you can see here some asymmetry. You can see this like ceramic clay, ceramic facade, okay, and like a big scheme, kind of like a big protection for the interior for the domestic use. The two boxes downstairs, one box will be the upstairs, and then the roof with that kind of like a clay in the roof's slopes, you can get the natural light getting inside. Then what's very important, since the facade was so narrow, if we have been decided to do like a proper door, like a proper window, then the scale of the whole facade will have been a failure. Because if you realize, if you compare any of the openings from the airports to have been opening a new window, a new opening like that, standard opening, on the facade, we haven't created a distortion in the scale and the perception of the front. So we wanted to have a very abstract facade in order to be like a transition between the building, I mean the house from the right side and the right, and the house from the left side. Also, in our office, we work a lot with models, the physical models. And in this case, we're learning how to place the brick in such a way, like I will create those molds, those holes, to get light in. I have to say, like in this area, I would say like it's kind of like the same weather like here in Segovia, which is like a very cold winter and very hot summer. So that's kind of like a ceramic facade that will be able to ventilate, get ventilation, natural ventilation, but at the same time getting shade inside. It's a way to get this kind of like a light ceramic facade. And also there was another thing that it was very important for us, which was the height that we're going to get for this front facade. Shall we raise the level of the tallest construction, or should get lower close to the right? The answer will come later, as we will see. Even though we stay at the lower level, as you will see afterwards why. But also the position of the brick, as you can see on the picture, it's like there was just placed as the same way like the rest of the buildings, but there was one line that was put in process like an 90 degrees, I think like a perpendicular way. So it was coming out the facade such as some centimeters that create a shade against the same ceramic. So there was kind of like a big vibration. It was not like a plain facade, but that kind of a vibration between the natural light and the shade create many different solutions through the day, or the perceptions through the day for the facade. And you can see here, this is very easy to know how it was built. So we've got this piece here, making one of the left line on the left and on the right side, and then putting the same on the other side. So it was kind of like doing this zigzag distribution of the bricks and creating that effect. Also, this is a painter. This is a painting made by Goya. You know that Goya was one of the most famous painters, Spanish painters. And this is the painting called Saturn scarfing his son, like devouring his son, right? And I brought this picture here, because I want you to pay attention to his eyes, the eyes from Saturn, that are kind of like out of scale compared to his body. It's kind of like his eyes are coming out of their the skull sockets, okay, for the eyes. So that kind of like a distortion in scale is kind of like the same distortion of a scale that we wanted to get with the natural skylights, as you can see here. Why? Because we really need to have a big eyes here to get the natural light going down through those gaps of the bed. So in this section, which is from the street to the backside of the floor, the skylight is almost the same size like a person. So it's kind of like a really out of scale. While on the other side, if you make a conversion, like the other sections, they are a little bit lower because you just need to get the natural light very close from here. So that kind of play between the size and the scales of the skylights of the roof, and also the distance where the natural light should get in, where the constraints that make this kind of design of this final solution. This is the entrance door, you can see there, like where the natural light was coming in. There was a single picture. So it was trying to come in, but also when you look at the floor, which was made out of stone, like a very traditional stone floor from this area, we really wanted to bring this kind of stone to the entrance because the roughness of the floor create some shades where the light is kind of like scarring and trying to get in. So that kind of like a texture enhance our idea of how we can try to show the project that the natural light is as important as we wanted to manifest on this project. If we have made a very like a flat floor, this effect, this feeling, this will have been lost. At the same time, it is not like a direct sunlight hitting against the facade. Then you can some parts of the facade are openings are more. Okay, so you can divide them. They are actually pivoting on one axis over there. So you can create openings that are not seen in the very first glance. Also, this kind of opening is very important. So because when you design a window, it's not just about what is the size of the window, it's how you have an opening, what is behind that. So there are many ideas that need to be considered with mark and this design. So by doing this like a pivoting solution, what we really wanted is like the user is not looking to the house which is just in front. You're not like in the small towns, houses from each side of the screen are very close. So they always need to put some curtains just to give some privacy. So instead of getting all these like traditional solutions, by doing this opening, you are forced to look at the back. So you are forced to look at the other side of the street. So you keep privacy from the neighbor which is in front of you. Here you have an assumption of the construction solution, how it was designed. And also I wanted to bring here today some pictures for the construction. As you can see, the floor is just supported by the two boxes that you can see here, and it just have like a floating on the limit of the border of the floor. And you can see there, just fitting the gap. And this picture is from downstairs, just looking at the same gap that you saw before. Also, the solution for that behave was very, important for us. And the size of every single item was very focused for the final size of every single piece of it. So this UPN was facing towards this area to the glass. So we have a whole like an LED strip all the way around. So when there is no natural light, the artificial light will come from the same source like the natural light. But also this UPN section allows us with this wing to make the holes and to screw a metal wire just to hang, just to make it tension for the borders, because you saw there was two boxes just supporting the whole floor. So on the very limit of it, there was kind of like a flex going down. So in order to avoid that flex, we had to hang some of these like metal wires in a very particular way, so you're going to see later. Also, this 40 millimeter height of the floor, it's around what is the T profile here, and what is the thickness of the concrete slab we're going to use. So every single version for that has been really considered. You can see how that line was kind of like a broken line, making a space, areas where the natural light was getting in more than the other ones. This picture that you can guess is taking from the ground floor, moving upstairs, and moving up to the skyline on the top. Also, during the construction, we had very strong with the networks. And at some point, we were digging and doing the foundation for this small project. We were digging on Friday, and with the builder, we were not very comfortable with the situation, the maintenance of these all walls all around. So we wanted to do a rechecking on Sunday morning with the builder, just to make sure that everything is now be working out. So we decided to be here at 7 a.m. on Sunday with the builder, just to make sure everything is working fine, then go for breakfast and then enjoy the rest of the Sunday. When we arrived there, as you can see, there's water on the ground. So there was a very heavy showers the day before. When we arrived here at 7 a.m., there was a crack on the back side of that wall, because that house was kind of like a collapse. So we really need to go to a countryside to build a very long poles that are used for installation. It's actually the same we use those long poles for like a telephone wiring, okay, on the countryside. So we really need to take them and just to put them against the wall, just to hold the whole walls surrounding our project. And I bring that here because in that situation, I reminded this, I don't know if you know this piece, it's called the mouth, it's called the mouth of the truth, which is, this is in Rome, and no one knows really what it was used for, but it's supposed that that was like a cover for a sewage system in the arts in Rome. So that was kind of like the cover thing. But I got it here because for me, this object, which it was made out of marble, it's, even though the marble is very hard, by the way that has been the face feature on the marble, it looks to be very soft. So that combination of the pressure, instead someone has pressure in the stone and making it soft, and there's a pressure behind all the time, right? So in that, according to that sense, in our project, there was a lot of pressure from the side walls. So how we're going to decide the material that will surround inside the apartment, the house. So we decided to use this OSB, like a wood panels, like you probably know. Why? Because the way that they have been built, it's about the pressure. So you can see all the wood fibers, because during the construction process, there was some pressure on it. So for us, it's like all the time that wooden panels remind us the whole pressure that the building surrounding ours is doing all the time. You can see the owners in there, in the area, you can see all this wiring here that's supporting and trying to hold the very last part of the floor in order to avoid the flex. This is the small kitchen, which is just facing the outside, and how that like a brick facade is working in that kind of like a context. Also, I always like we all work with references. And to work with references doesn't mean like you have to literally go there, but you have to interpret them. We are all the time working with ideas. We are all the time working with aspects that are bringing you a kind of like a new design approach. And you really need to have all the time your eyes very open to have these new kind of perceptions. This is the Scania cinema, which is from Stockholm. It was one of the first cinemas from the 20th century that was in the whole world. The architect was Muka Arquitectura. And what he did was for lighting the whole cinema, he was placing too many like white spheres, bulbs, like lamps hanging from the ceiling. And he demanded to have many moons in the sky. And he did that because he really wanted to show to the user like the atmosphere of this cinema will take you to somewhere special, somewhere as a dream. So as well as there are not too many moons in the sky, in here it's something like you're going to be in a dream. That's why he was there. So from that idea, which is not really literally brought here, but we designed the bedroom. It's the only part of the whole project, since it was a very tight budget, where we decided to make it curved, and with this kind of like a ceramic small tiles that they were like a very like a shiny, and they were very cheap. So these are kind of the materials that you will never use in a pool as they are used for that. But they are very like any traditional person would make a pool with this kind of tiles, right? So we wanted to bring it here because the shiny parts of the glossy parts of the ceramic, when the sunset is coming here, it's creating a full effect of different lights, tones, different red colors, and everything that makes for the bedroom to try to live in a special place for us. So that's why that's the only point where we decided to do this, because for us, the bedroom in this house was kind of like at the core where the dreams will come up. You can see the bedroom from the head of the bed. We can see how the light is coming out from the inside. Also, I brought these pictures because when you work with, especially with ceramic, the size of the hand is very, very relevant. So when we were talking there about what's going to be the size, how we're going to create the units for those frames, metal frames, there was always the hand working with us. That's very important when you are working with bricks. And also, since in summertime, the sunlight wasn't getting in because of the system, the cladding, the geometry of the cladding. In winter time, the natural light, even though the whole day was closed, you will get a natural light getting in. And the most special part of physics is that in winter time, when you get this kind of natural light, the limit of the light against the shade, it's a very like a vibrant border. It's like a blurred limit. So it's not like when it's summer, you can really distinguish between the shade and sun, but there it's a very like a thick gray, which is very red. I don't know if you have had that perception before, right? So that regression, when you have these openings, is reflecting on the materials. And it's a very nice place. When you are there and you're seeing how the natural light is shaking, it's like you have captured somehow the time and the matter at the same time with this kind of openings. So that's also, it's not about bringing light, but how you want to work with light. The light is also another kind of like matter. So it's like working with clay. But against that, you have like a big skylight, getting as much natural light as possible inside the house. Also, the steps were designed just not to have the front part of it, in order to let natural light go as depth as possible to the wall. And also because, I mean, architecture is always a conversation. It's a conversation between you and yourself. It's a conversation between you and materials, between you and more professionals that are working on that. And then with some of the openings here, that you can really see how the scale of the project is in there, and it's not as visible as you could get from the construction that sides. Here, at some hour during the day, that was a metal frame professional was working there. He was laughing there. Well, he has a smile, not laughing, but having a smile on his face because he was very happy with the whole work that we were doing over there. And at night, then the natural light coming from inside was reflecting towards outside. And here is where the answer for what was the height of the final of the front facade, of the final height of the building was coming from. As I said to you before, when we were there first time, we saw that the church was observing everyone in the town. So at some point, I was asking to the neighbor in front of our house to allow me to get in and get upstairs to take pictures of the project. And I realized that they were observing the backside of the church. So we decided not to go as tall as the one on the left because the neighborhoods in the front will have blocked, or we will have blocked the views that they have had with the whole life of that. So we decided just to go down and to allow the neighbors to keep observing the church as they was using it. Then the second project is like a lantern house, Casa Farol, which is another house. This house is located in Madrid. And this like a sketch, this section for this sketch, I would say is the drawing that better or define the project the best. It's just like I would define this project as being like a box suspended on a kind of like a cave ground, or like a, when you work on the ground. And this project, there were like the three items that we wanted to work together. It was like a construction, innovation, and also like how to deal with a domestic space, which is a house, but also with the urban context that you never need to forget, even though you are working on a domestic project. And that makes emotion. So emotion for us is not about making you cry or allowing you not to have words to say anything. Emotion for us is the capability that we architects must have in order to make something that will kind of like create you to think about something. This is not something direct that you have made there so far. This is the house. This is a big box, which is standing from the ground level, and the wall surrounding from the limit of the house. You can see here in this context, it's also surrounded by single houses. Okay? That are isolated from each other. But if you take a look at the size of the plot size, you will see that the house, it looks like a very big compared to the size of the plot. So what happened there? It's like suddenly you have, in spite of living in a house which is standing, you have your neighbors very close. You just take a look here, and you have also at least the same perception, even worse, that when you live in a city and you have your neighbors far, this distance was even closer. So that was a very constraint, like a thing to consider in this project, because neighbor was very close. And you can see here in this Google map, okay, this picture was taken while we were doing the construction, but you can see this peak from here, how close it was to our project. So what we decided to do was, okay, let's try to make box. Here you can see where the ground floor will be just composed by a wooden box here, a U-shaped concrete wall, and then another partition wall which is in the middle, kind of like in a very abstract way, how circulations on the ground floor will be dynamic, not static. Another thing that we always like to work in houses is to play different alternatives in the circulations. So there is not only one way for going from A to B. There is always alternative ways and manners how to get from one point to the other. And from here, the pool was just placed on that side where the sun will be always heating the water from the pool. And compared with the upper level, in this very schematic way, is how the brick box will be able to create two different gradients or two different grades of function inside that level. In which sense? Some of them were very close and related to the brick facade here, and the others, they will use the facade, which corresponds to the north facade, as a protection wall only, okay? And as you're going to see here on the photograph that we found in the floor, well, you can see on the ground floor, it was the box that was trapped where the entrance is, then the small toilet here. And these walls were used for dividing the kitchen area towards the pool and the staircase going upstairs. And on the top part is where the living area was located. On the upper floor, and you saw there was this kind of line where interior spaces and the master bedroom kind of belongs to the limit of the ceramic. Again, how the boundaries between exterior and interior, thanks to ceramic clay, ceramic facade, are able to create a wider limits, a wider boundaries between one side and the other. And you can see here, there was just two main bedrooms facing to the south with that facade, but then the rest of the showers, sinks, toilets, wardrobe were facing to the north, so that was kind of like a protection against the climate conditions, in spite of having a third bedroom there, but was not for daily life, okay, for daily use. Then here you can see that geometry again, how the ground floor was kind of curved, getting that level, the ground level was a little bit like 72 centimeters going down from the ground level. So what we wanted is like for example, like in a semi-like on a ship, where the sea level mark, it's like we call it the flotation, you know, like the line where the ship is just in a balance, right? So that line is very, very important. So in architecture, it's the same. So it's not about just putting one floor on the other. It's where the horizontal line is going to be located, okay? So we wanted to get down in order to gain more privacy for the ground floor and not looking at the levels and the capacity of the pictures. So, and at the same time, the effect of having that, like a brick box, standing over there, that heavy and in appearance, a heavy brick box, getting a little bit down, will make the effect of looking or being like a more massive, especially during the day. And you can see here, we were working the ground, the pool was part of that carving method, the ground floor was curved, also steps from one side, many different ways to get access to that ground floor, as you can see there. From the front elevation, that kind of level from the first floor, it was getting that such a way that it was almost same line between the living for the gate and for the border of the fence down for the house. And you can see in this kind of section at the center elevation for the house. This is the section working with this full glass from floor to ceiling from the south, having smaller openings in the other facades that there was not we need to protect against the traffic. Here you can see also how the brick work that we did here was kind of like a touch, but not a touch, like a touching, like a meeting the slab, the concrete slab against the facade, but there was kind of like a gap in between, thanks to some plates that we had on the concrete, and then we can make it looking like a skin and making it lighter, to look lighter. Here during the construction process, and for doing the facade, we decided to use two different types from the same model, two different types of ceramics. This is a very like a traditional ceramic piece that I would say was just forgotten in Spain to use. That was related to very standard architecture. And we wanted to bring it back and to give a different meaning in our project. So we used that one, which is like a 20 by 20 centimeters dimension size. and this one which is 10 by 20. And we decided, if you realize in the first place, that it was just, I didn't mention that before, but we did use like a layer of mortar every three different lines of brick. So there was some attempts since the way we were building that, we just need a mortar, one every 3 lines of brick. So when we were designing this project, we said, okay, always brick has been related to cement. You always need cement to work with. I mean, you really need to see the cement, the thickness of cement is going to be brick, but you're looking at finish line. So how about if we want just to go to the limit and not to see any cement? How about if we don't use any cement while using a ceramic facade? In this case, we made a patent here in Spain about the way of the construction design process that was first be done on this project, which is this metal frame that can be industrialized. Then you have a metal frame, you place the first like a big tubing, and with some like a flexible resins that you will not see because it's very thick. Then you start like a, let's say, gluing one to the other one, and then creating the effect. We call this, it's an event actually, it has been registered as an event here in Spain, and we call it like a kind of like a dry ceramic clay facade, something like that. Okay? So because you don't need to make mortar and you don't need to use water in order to create this kind of facade that you can see here. So we have two many different panels. This is the south facade, the west, east, and north facade. So combining these two different units, dimensions, pieces, we wanted to create different kind of natural light and in and out. So we decided to create 5 different types of standardization of those lines. What's the difference between them? The number units for 20 by 20 that were placed in everyone. The first one is 8, 13, 17, 20, and 28. So that's such a way, then with the combination that you can see down there, like a B, A, E, C, D, A, we create such a rhythm that you are not able to perceive that it has been industrialized or standardized. And at the same time, we're placing the panels with the more openings where we really wanted to have it. This is the patent, okay, but we've got the letter from the Minister of Industry for getting the patent for that. And this is the way we're starting to build. And you can see we started with the first one, we have to do some tests. And since it was a success, we start going all around and giving a different levels there. Here, this picture has been taken just looking down. You can see these metal plates and this gap in between that makes the ceramic clay to look more like lighter. Also, we had to do some tests, which is you need to check the strength with a horizontal force. So there was this kind of a test, which is also like with the ISO standard laws of Europe, that you have to hit in a horizontal way a weight of 45 kilos, just in such a way that when you hit it, it will not collapse. So we were doing this test, and it was kind of like it was correct. And then here you start to see how the light is just screening on the wall for these in-between spaces, for those terraces. And how the effect and the quality of the light is changing all the time through the day. Also, how important was, like since we have that kind of opening, like a filter, the houses, they were so close that no one could look at us inside because of the dimensions and the kind of relationship that it was already done in Arabic architecture, or like a Mediterranean architecture where the sun, also like North Africa architecture, where the sun hits a lot these ceramic facades and those shades. You can see with a very sunny day how it looks like. That's a very like a clean and abstract box just hanging from, floating from that level. And you can see on the back side, right side, how close the neighbor was. but you could be inside there and no one is able to look at you inside. Also, there was another clue for this project, which was how to place the main volume. And you can see here, we place it in like a perpendicular way where the street was. Because we understood, since everyone is trying always to put your construction along the street, just to create like a block views for your courtyard, which is behind, just to keep privacy. We wanted to put it perpendicular, just to allow to everybody walking through here to look at the nice trees that were in between all the plots. So we wanted to any user in the town that will enjoy the trees that were around and not just to have like a glass walls, houses, walls of the houses just trying to block any views. Here you can see an entrance, how they're going some steps down and getting to that level surrounded by the glass walls. This is really the construction. This is from the pool. And this is the ground floor. And you can see here, when you are on the ground floor, you are not able to look at any of the houses because when we get lower levels, you can see, just because of the vegetation, the trees, and our wall, we're allowing us not to have, not even a single conversation if you don't want to, because no one is going to be able to look at you while being there in the living area. This is the other view where the kitchen was just on the left side towards the pool and the steps on the right side. And you can see how, the dimensions as we included in the height of the ceramic, the thickness of both floors of the both slabs from the roof and from the ground floor. The perception was that the first floor was higher than the ground floor. So it keeps going at the same direction, same idea for making the brick units on the top floating to be more massive than it really is. This is on the upper floor, one of the bedrooms, and how instead of having this filter, natural light was getting in such a way. While in the main master bedroom, by making the window in the corner and making sliding doors that disappearing in the wall, create the bedroom to look like a wider or bigger, since the terrace is kind of getting into the master bedroom. Also, since the project is kind of like a rectangle, so they have one main direction. When you were here in the section, you can see two different ways of using the natural light. You can see here the natural light was coming through the ceramic, while on the steps there were three skylights that were giving natural light to this area where there was a desk to work over there. So the natural light has been kind of like a work in a different way, different perceptions and the project. You can see here the roughness of one ceramic meeting the other one in here, and that kind of like the roughness of this. And again, it's kind of like a vibration. It's kind of like we are obsessed with vibration in architecture, how materials, light, and the project is working on that direction, not only just to make a smooth surface and try to make it clean. And when the night is coming, you can see how the artificial light is start getting from inside to outside. And then the perception of the whole house, or the whole project, start changing and giving another different reading from the daylight. The box and the entrance were just measured with the same dimensions that the brick work was done, and also according to this like a wooden panels, and how we were trying to make it all work. And then at night, when the artificial light is coming from upstairs, then it looks like a laundry. That's why we call it project, because since during the day it looking as such a massive as you saw before. At night, it looks very, very light and gives another total different perception from the body. So that's all. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for your presentation. We have 5 minutes, so we'll take like a couple of questions from you. So any questions for Moisés? Yeah.
Sorry,
Speak up a little bit.
So you want this visual inside, but it just process. How do you keep the temperature inside?
yeah, of course. I mean, the thing is that with this, like a visual layer, you said, when it's summertime, the thickness of the brick allows you that the sunlight is not getting inside the brick, so the sunlight is not hitting the main facade, so it's not warming up. So it keeps the shades inside. So when you keep the shades in the facade and give the shade inside, if you add that ventilation, it gives a very nice fresh effect. So we're working with that since, again, in winter time, you saw the light was coming in since the thickness and the orientation of the project. So that was another concern, how we were working the thickness of the museum, then to make it work such a way in summer, in a different way than it was done.
Yeah, a question too.
But what about, not in terms of radiation, but in terms of like thermal boundaries, so cold air coming in and out through the bricks? Because I understand that sunlight and radiation, how that affects, you know, how much sunlight gets in during different seasons, but surely with the amount of air that kind of travels through the bricks, regardless of the season, it's pretty much the same. So let's say it was in the winter, that it's snowing and it's really cold outside, how can we like still keep the interior kind of, you know, the same?
Yeah, okay. Here, there is no snow, so it's one of the extreme, as you have mentioned. Okay, so but still, I mean, it's hot in summertime. In Madrid, for example, it's more important how you prevent the house from sun and how you work the house against the winter and low temperatures. Okay, because low temperatures in Madrid, it's very easy to work with that and to make to stabilize the temperature inside the house. So the most important part here is how you work with this during the summertime. So by getting this shade, we were getting, it was like something like a 70 degrees lower temperature from outside and inside in the same area. So that's how we were trying to approach this.
Final question? Anyone? Sisters?
And one, given that it's about brick, but it seems like in the previous images, when you stack the brick on top of one another, there's slight wiggle. Like,
Yeah.
So how do you deal with it at the top? Are there gaps in the top between the steel and the brick, or do you have a thickness that accommodates?
No, the thing is like since as I said before, these kind of like a pieces. I mean, they were not handmade, but it was made in such a traditional industrial way.
Yeah.
Like it gives tolerance with water, right? Like it was not perfectly done to be
You seem like you have a centimeter.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking. I mentioned about the preparation for that. So how we solved that was trying to combine when we were getting into the very last, trying to combine the circle one just to get the same line.
So do you have any gaps that?
No, there's not a gap because the metal frame, it's like it's a T shape. It's like a T profile. So we always have a gap there. We were kind of like putting it against the vertical part of the T profile. And then if there was a gap on the top, we also wanted to keep it since the movements and the expansion from heat will contribute us to leave that gap on the top. So it's kind of like it's kind of, let's say, it's glued against the vertical part of it in a flexible way, like I will allow to move in the vertical position. But you don't see that because it's like a 4 or 5 centimeters high, that metal plate going along the frame.
All right. Thank you very much for attending. It's really good to have you. But thank you also, Moises, for coming and for showing us your work. Please apply. And as most of you are second here, we'll see you at 3 in the studio. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Wesam y Moisés. Gracias.
There's like-
Oh, yeah.